Well, hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Stock Markets with Bruce, the YouTube channel where the old man sitting in a little chair here in his little studio desperately tries to tell you in plain English what's going on out there in the markets and how it'll affect you, why you should care or not worry, or how you can overcome hardship. He's going to try to help you understand how to write options and make a bunch of money. Just trying to fill you in on what's going on. There are world events going on that are important, but may or may not affect you on a minute-to-minute basis. And then there are domestic events happening in Canada, the United States, elsewhere that you might have to worry about. But I can tell you that uh, the world at large. Again, I'm in Canada, so just so you know where I am, I'm in like a I'm in a small economic country with a big real estate footprint, and observing my neighbor to the south, which is the United States of America, which I love America, love my American viewers, really enjoy my time down there. And then my friends in Europe, the UK, and in South America, and Africa, and Asia, and the rest of the world, we're all watching what's happening, globally, and we're all noticing the same thing happening again and again and again in certain areas of the world, in particular the USA right now with the debt ceiling talks. Oh, coming to a crescendo of a crisis. It is to laugh what nonsense this is. And it is also pathetic. I think that's probably the real thing. I think most Americans probably agree because you can sure tell that there just aren't riots in the streets about this. I would bet you that 99% of Americans couldn't give a crap about the debt ceiling discussions that are coming up this week between Biden and McCarthy. I would even bet you that a lot of Americans don't know who McCarthy is. They don't know who this guy actually is. They wouldn't know where he's from. They wouldn't know what state this guy's from. Funny enough, Nancy Pelosi, everybody knew, oh, she's from California. She's one of those crazy Californians. Tax everybody and look after social programs. Nancy, oh, from California. Do you know that McCarthy's from California? He's the Republican from California. Yeah, he doesn't brag about that a lot. He maybe to his friends, he's a god to them, but he doesn't brag internationally that I'm from California too, like Nancy. But I'm the fiscally responsible. The other thing he doesn't talk about because he can't, and nobody wants to, he doesn't want to answer questions from anybody having to do with, hey, you got some real Looney Tune Congress people in your caucus there. Are you listening to them regarding your demands from the president of the United States to reduce spending, balance the budget and all this stuff? He doesn't want to talk about this because he doesn't want to be the guy in front of the discussions. He wants to be the guy forcing the president to cave, and give in to demands of the Republican Congress people. And if he doesn't, it's his fault that we can't get a debt ceiling passed. It's all the president's fault, which means it's nothing but Democrats' faults that the Republicans can't get what they want. The Democrats are going, well, all these bills have been passed, the spending measures have been approved. You guys, the Congress, you have to figure out how to bring the dough in to work these bills. And these bills that were passed, many of them were passed as what they called, the term they used was revenue neutral legislation. So we'll spend money on highways, but it'll come from the gas tax. Or we'll spend money on this and it'll come from user fees for that. Oh, by the way, just kind of to bring it all home. For those of you who don't know, and this might surprise some of you people in Europe and in Australia and South America and other countries of the world. The United States has a federal gasoline tax that is paid at the pump. So when you drive your car to a gas station and you put the nozzle into your tank, hit the lever to start flowing fuel, the price you pay per gallon, all right, inside that price are taxes, local taxes, state taxes, and the federal excise tax. The federal government of the United States gas tax. Okay? It hasn't been changed since, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the federal gasoline tax has been adjusted since 1991. I think that's right. Now, some of you in the United States, you have to help me out on that. Maybe go Google it for me and tell me, when was the last time the gasoline tax in the United States on the federal level had been changed? I think it's 18 cents a gallon, and I don't think it's been changed since 1991. Inflation alone would probably double that number. And then an increase in the price of the tax to dissuade people from driving V8 pickup trucks with dual exhaust might be in order. But we don't want to upset the economy. And more specifically, we don't want to upset dual emission pipe dual exhaust pickup truck owners. We don't want to upset those voters, because those guys vote big time. Those women who drive those 1-ton dually pickups with those gigantic smokestacks right behind the extended cab, they vote en masse whenever there's a gasoline tax talk increase. So anyway, I'm curious to know. I think it was 1991. I think the last time the tax was increased in 1991. So the Congress is the group that can raise the gasoline tax. They could come out and say, we're going to raise the gasoline tax 2 cents a year for the next 5 years to like a dime. No Republican is going to vote for that. Not a single one. And most Democrats are going, I don't think we want to do that. So you could have a tax like $1 a bullet for bullets. You could have like a bullet tax. So when Walmart sells, a box of bullets for AK-47s, 100 bullets, it's $100 tax. That could go to the federal government reserve. That no one's going to vote for that. I don't know. What else could we do? How else could we raise money in the United States? 10 cents a beer. You could you could add 10 cents to a can of beer tax federally. I'm talking not states, but federal government. 10 cents a beer, $1.20 a 12-pack, and that could go towards balancing the budget. Maybe a dollar for a big jug of whiskey, for every bottle of whiskey. So at Costco, when you buy the giant rum bottle in California for $15.99 or $16.99, it's now $17.99. Canadians wouldn't mind that, by the way, because Canadians are paying $68 for one of these here in Canada. If it costs $1 more at Costco, we wouldn't care. I think though that I don't think any politician would vote for that. Did you know that in Canada, the federal government of Canada found an ingenious way to raise taxes on alcohol every year without having to do a budget referendum to pass a bill? It was about 8 years ago. The liberal government of Justin Trudeau came into power. I think it was 8 years ago. The first time he came into power, he had a minority. He's always had a minority government. Anyway, his finance minister had to come up with a budget, and every budget was the same garbage. The finance minister stands up in the House of Commons and tells the Canadian public what your taxes are for the next year. There's no debate. There's no grandstanding in the Senate. It's it's the finance minister tells you what it is. End of discussion. Now you vote on it in the House of Commons a week or two later, and then move on. Well, inside the one budget, he figured out how to avoid this annual charade of getting up in the House of Commons and having to tell Canadians how much more they have to pay for alcohol taxes. He just indexed it to inflation. That's it. So he raised the rate by like 2 cents a bottle, 2 cents a can, or whatever the heck it was at the time. And then he put in a little addendum, a little add-on that every year it'll be adjusted by inflation. And that's permanent. And no government since, and it's been liberal governments every year since, we've had 1 or 2 elections since that first election, never rescinded that. That's never been changed. And so the taxes on alcohol and beer and whatever go up uniformly every year by inflation as the government announces inflation numbers. And they don't have to repass this. It's just a built-in accelerator of tax revenue for the federal government without any debate about it. And I never see a politician run for prime minister in this country saying, if I become the prime minister of this country, I am going to rescind the inflation kick on the taxation basis on alcohol. I'm going to reduce alcohol and excise taxes on cigarettes by 10%. That would immediately get 1 million votes. No one does that. And then another one you could do is I'm going to allow Canadians to import into Canada what Americans can import from Canada. I'm going to equalize it, which is, I think, $1,000 per trip, no matter how long you spend in the country. It's almost no duties at the border. If you did that in Canada, you would rack up 2 million votes for your party instantaneously. That's called tax cuts at the personal level. Forget corporate tax breaks. Give it to the people themselves. Anyway, it's just me. Of course, the United States, they could have a GST. They could have a good and services tax, like we have in Canada, or what the Brits have in Europe, which is the what do they call that tax in Britain? It's the I forgot at the moment. It's a national tax. Help me out here. I'm really tired. It'll come to me. In the UK, I believe it's 18% on everything you buy and sell and all that stuff. And it was supposed to help, bring in money to help the government balance its books. The GST in Canada, the goods and services tax, was imposed as a federal tax. It was first started at 7% back in the 90s. And then they reduced it to 6%, and now it's 5%. And the reason it's gone from 7% to 5% was so much money was coming into the federal coffers that they didn't know what to do with the money. They had too much tax coming in. And so rather than eliminate income tax for the first $30,000 you make in Canada, and just people could just fill in a one-page form, I made $28,000, I owe nothing. Instead of doing that and laying off 50,000 workers at the tax department who had to calculate how much tax you don't owe for the first, whatever, all the 30% of all Canadians don't pay federal tax, just like in the United States. Instead of doing that, now we'll just reduce the VAT. Thank you, James Nutt, and Phil. You guys are watching. Value-added tax. Thank you, guys. The VAT. So in the UK, it's the VAT. We have the VAT in Canada. They don't have it in the United States. If they had a VAT in the United States of 5%, and the promise was that in exchange for the VAT, we will adjust it for inflation forevermore, not tax any American that makes under $50,000 a year. No tax. That would go over very well with the people who don't make $50,000 a year. It would go over very well. It would go over very well for employers, because employers who pay employees $15 an hour, $600 a week, that's $30,000 a year. They wouldn't have to prepare. They wouldn't have to do deductions. They wouldn't have to do all this federal crap, all this work with the IRS, because these people are exempt from paying tax. You don't report to the IRS unless you make $50,000. If you did that, you would be able to lay off probably, 500,000 workers in the United States at the federal level, easily. And it would allow, I don't know, 50 million Americans, 80 million, I'm not even sure how many single mothers and single parents and students and people who make 30, 30, 45,000 a year are just burdened with the tax thing every year. If you eliminated that, that would cost the American public a lot less time, worry, stress, and money. Of course, it would hurt. It would hurt H&R Block and all these outfits who make money preparing taxes for people that will never owe taxes. You'd crush those guys because after all, you got to scare people into worrying about the tax man coming after you because you made $35,000. What a joke. Anyway, that would help with the budget because you'd stop spending. You'd reduce spending by not having to pay so many hundreds of thousands of employees to work for the government, and you would increase revenue because the 5% GST or VAT in the U.S. would come in from every retailer in the country who are used to reporting sales taxes and all this anyway at the state level. So this is a no big deal. And you'd reduce this thing. You'd bring in more money and spend less money. That would be a win-win. Because what I'm noticing right now in the clown show that's going on over at the Republican Party in the Congress is there is no provision from the Republican Party to come to negotiate with the White House with regard to, well, we've got to reduce our deficit spending here. One way we could do this is we could raise taxes and reduce spending at the same time. It's kind of a collaborative thing, like a negotiation kind of a thing. Like we'll increase taxes on the very, very wealthy. Like if you make more than 10 million a year, you have to pay another 10,000 a year in tax. Or as Biden says, over 400,000 a year, $1,000 a year more taxes. $1,000. You make $418,000, $1,000 more you pay in federal tax. How about that? You'll be amazed how many people will only make $399,999 a year going forward. You'll be shocked at how many people stop earning money at that level. They don't want to pay $1,000 more. They don't want to make 450 grand and pay $1,000. They want to make $399.99 and not pay anything. It's laughable. It's just laughable. The thing really is, though, I think what's really going on is aren't you folks in the United States paying more taxes this year than you were 10 years ago anyway because of inflation? Aren't there a lot of Americans out there who've had they call that tax creep, I think it is, tax creep, where inflation raises your pay. I know a lot of you are getting 2 to 3% generous pay increases from your employers to help with the 10% inflation problem. Anyway, your pay increases and you move into a higher tax bracket because they don't move the bracket up with inflation from time to time. Now, I think that's depending on the state and country. It's all different. But I believe in America, there are a lot of Americans who've gotten caught where they owe more money in taxes, even though the government says you didn't get a tax increase. But you did get a tax increase. You got what's called the inflation tax increase. See, the other thing I was thinking of is if everyone in America is getting a 3, 5, or 8% pay raise from 2 years ago to last year to next year, doesn't that mean the federal money coming into its tax department and the states are getting more money too? Because if you used to earn $60,000 a year, now you earn $64,000 a year, that extra $4,000 isn't tax-free. That raise isn't a tax-free raise. I mean, if your employer says to you, you're getting a $10,000 bonus for doing a great job, you don't get a check for $10,000. You get a check for what? $6,200, $3,800 comes off the top right away, and it goes to the state government, maybe your city government, county government, federal government, your UI, your unemployment insurance, your pension. What do you get net? Some of you only get 50 cents on the dollar after all the taxes are deducted at source. So I'm thinking if Americans are getting a 3, 4, 5% raise overall, 15 an hour to 15.50 an hour, 30,000 a year to 35,000 a year, 62,000 a year to 66,000 a year, whatever. then everyone's paying more in taxes, aren't they? Isn't that just how this works? I don't know what the problem is with the Congress. I don't understand the problem. Money's coming in and forecasts to keep coming in, unless half of the jobs out there are going to be eliminated because of a recession or a depression. I don't see that happening either, because there's 10 job openings for any American who wants to work. I mean, got 10 million job openings, and people are getting raises. You wonder, you're going to wonder, if is this all about nothing? This clown show is pretty clowny, isn't it? Yeah, it is, and we've only just started. We've only just begun. Yeah. Anyway, I just wonder, I'm not sure how to handle it. Does anyone know about this gas tax? Did anyone figure that out? I don't see any response to that. Thank you, everybody, for popping in here and throwing up your thumbs ups this morning and saying hi to me. Appreciate it. But I don't think anyone addressed that issue. When is the last time the United States government raised the gas tax? I want to say that the last time the gas tax went up was when George Bush, the father, was president of the United States, right after Ronnie Reagan retired and left the U.S. taxpayer in a heap of debt, because he was the guy who broke the American budget right out the door. I believe that's what it was. I think so. Is this stock talk or clown show talk? You got to talk about the clown show to understand the stock market. It's all interrelated. It all comes together. Look at the market this morning, up 37 points on the Dow in the pre-market. There is no ringing endorsement here about what's happening, politically in the U.S. or the G7 thing or whatever. What I find also interesting is this G7 meeting in Hiroshima between the G7 leaders. Then had Zelensky come in from Ukraine, and they brought in the Prime Minister of Australia, and they brought in I forgot who they brought in from Brazil, the latest leader, the president, I guess, of Brazil. They brought in these other countries to try to, bolster a unified front against China, because it's not a G8. The G8 would have had to include China. So it was a G7 meeting, In other words, it was the democracies, the richest democracy countries in the world are the G7, and then invited guests. The whole thing took place over the weekend. Did you notice that? No, you didn't notice that, did you? And that's the point. You didn't notice that. The G7 was a show that was going to be unremarkable. And so the planners and the plotters who put it together figured, well, why don't we start the whole thing on a Friday night, Eastern Time USA, and end it all by the time Sunday night rolls around in the USA. And then Biden can just come out here for the weekend, and then he'll be back in Washington to do what he has to do in Washington. Because this just shows how unimportant this really is. Because if this was really important, this would be Monday to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday news. This would be the middle of the week. It would be the only story you'd get in your press. But it isn't the only story you're getting. If you watched Fox News this weekend, I don't think you saw anything from the G7. And if you watch CBS News or NBC or does anyone watch CBS News anymore? You remember the old? Oh, you don't remember the old days when Cronkite used to host the CBS Evening News. There were only 3 network news shows that you could watch: NBC, ABC, and CBS. Now you got zillions, and it's all online, and there are no newspapers anymore. Things have changed. No one covered anything. Abe Vigoda money. The last time the United States raised the tax was 1993. James, the federal government excise tax rate has been changed 14 times since 1930, but it hasn't increased since 1997. The last tax increase was 1993. 24.4 cents per gallon for diesel. And there you go. I was only reading one headline about that meeting. Yeah, there you go. So can you imagine not getting a pay raise since 1993 as an individual? What was the minimum wage of the average worker in the United States, Canada, Europe in 1993? Were you, those of you who are watching me, how many of you were born in 1993? That's 30 years ago. 30 years ago was the last time the United States government raised its excise tax on fuel. 30 years. You see how hot a political topic that is? 30 years. No one would dare raise the gas tax. Not one time. We've had the financial crisis in 2008, 2009. 9/11 happened. That was a crisis. No gas tax increases. We had the Gulf War. We've had wars since. All kinds of other problems. No increase in the gas tax. We've had bridges literally collapse in the United States with cars, trucks, and buses on them when they collapsed. No gas tax increase whatsoever. That's what pays for the infrastructure of the highway system. The federal government's Department of Highways, whatever it is broke and cannot get more money from the Congress unless they have spending bills that Congress approves. And of course, if you are the senator from Iowa and you're a congressman from Iowa, you're not going to approve a bill that's going to improve the highway system in Illinois unless it also improves the highway system in Iowa. Because you don't get elected by Illinois voters, you get elected by Iowa voters. And inside Iowa, the highway that's going to be improved will be improved by Iowa-based businesses, not businesses from Kentucky or Tennessee or New York or California. Because after all, these pavers, bridge builders, and engineers, they put money towards the super PAC that gets you reelected every year. You can't get reelected from a super PAC in California. And so instead of having a national gas tax where the administrators in Washington can figure out a priority list of highway systems to invest in, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to let Congress decide which districts of the country get spending for the highway bills. And we're going to do it on a piecemeal basis. Now, you got a Republican Congress and a Democratic-run Senate and a Democrat in the White House. Good luck negotiating a deal there. It's not going to happen. The old days of the national gas tax covering the entire budget of the highway and allowing the experts who know how to manage highways, now those days are gone. Now it's focus groups, interest groups, regional and local political action committees that decide we need a new overpass in our district, and we're going to put that $300 million provision into one of the bills going through Congress, like pork, and just try to get that through the back door. And then that way we take care of our locals. We take care of our own. So if the highway in our state is nice and clean, screw the rest of them. You get your own bill together. Welcome to the Cloud Show. What can I say? The gas tax in New Zealand is known as the fart tax and is levied on farmers whose cattle release methane. I was in elementary school in 1993. Oh, man. Unemployment is at a record low and wages at record highs, and some think things are bad. There you go. Oh, man. High wages, but a dollar has less buying power than in the 1980s. Uncle Bruce, Texas Governor Abbott just levied an electrical vehicle tax. That's right. We got to protect our diesel-operated pickup trucks by putting an electric tax on vehicles. That's what we got to do. We'll teach those people. Not a lurker anymore. Good morning, Uncle Bruce. A Kiwi, Uncle Bruce, I have to give up my membership because every time I use my credit card on YouTube, hackers get my card details. It's ridiculous. Manager Uncle Bruce, can you turn on the closed caption option? Can you turn on the no? JM, fart tax would never fly, and U.S. Congress would pay too much. Oh my goodness. No, I'm sorry. I can't turn on the thing. You have to listen to the voice. Sorry. Yeah, I won't do that. Funny stuff. Electric vehicle fee into law. Government Adams signs electrical vehicle fee into law. This is the same state that just got Tesla to build a new factory in Austin to build electric cars. Go figure. Go, you got to wonder how this world works, isn't it? The craziest thing. Of course, the Republican congressional, with Mr. McCarthy and his folks from the Congress, they want the president to sign off on a change, in the budget to not encourage electrical vehicle making and alternative electricity generation. They want the coal industry back to the hilt. They want the oil and gas industry back to the hilt. Just keep on drilling. Drill, baby, drill is the motto over there. And environment be damned. What can I say? I'll never forget back in it was 2000 to 2005 during the George Bush, the son presidency. At that time, the budget, there was a budget passed because Bush was the president, the Congress was Republican, Senate was Republican. And they put in a massive tax bill that cut taxes corporately and raised all kinds of deductions and everything else. One of the deductions that was passed by the Bush White House was vehicles that were used by businesses. And no matter how small the business, if you were a real estate agent, you had your own little, business for your real estate agency, you qualified for this. As long as you drove a vehicle that was heavier than 5,000 pounds, so that's 2.5 tons. So any vehicle heavier than 5,000 pounds qualified for a massive federal tax break. Massive. So I'm talking about 3/4 ton pickups, 1/2 ton pickups, Silverados, Escalades, the Ford, not the Escape, the biggest SUVs made in America, Hummers as well. Any vehicle 5,000 pounds or greater that were run on gasoline or diesel qualified for one of the biggest and most generous tax breaks to the owner of that vehicle, to the business of that, whoever that business was. So if you had a pizza delivery company and you were delivering pizzas with 5,000 pound or heavier vehicles, you got this tax break. Now, if you were a company that was buying Nissan pickup trucks that were 3,800 pounds, they didn't qualify for the write-off. If you were a contractor in the contracting business and you didn't buy the Ford F-250 or the F-350 with the dualies, you didn't qualify for the tax rate. If you were, trying to run a business to spend less on gas by running a 6-cylinder motor, a 4-cylinder motor, smaller mid-size vehicle, you didn't qualify for the write-off. I remember this, how the biggest vehicles got the biggest write-offs, and sales of the Ford Expedition. The Ford Expedition was the one name that rings a bell with me. Sales took off because these were V8 powered 6,000 pound behemoths that were getting 14 miles a gallon in the city, 18 on the highway, just burning fuel. I mean, unleaded fuel was a nightmare. So when these trucks loaded up for gas at the Costco store, they would drive to the local Costco and they would drop $100 a tank at that time for $3.60 a gallon, like 30 gallons at a time they would be picking up, just blowing it into the air in the 90s, in the 2000s. when the planet was desperately trying to limit emissions, the U.S. government was allowing write-offs against the most inefficient vehicles America could make. Sponsored heavily by GM, Ford, and of course the folks who ran Chrysler. Every pickup truck qualified at over 5,000 pounds. It was unbelievable, and that was America. That was the Republican-led George Bush the son initiative to encourage American business and to drill, baby, drill, because that was the motto of the Republicans in the 2000s. So America will be stronger if we just produce more oil and gas. If we just made more of it, we'd be a stronger country. Yep. Oh, if only Al Gore had won in 2001. He did. He actually did win the election in 2001. He had more votes, but he wasn't made president of the United States. As a matter of fact, I think, didn't Hillary have more votes? I think Hillary had more votes, but she didn't become president either. If I recall, votes doesn't matter. It's where the votes are in any event. Anyway, there you go. Incredible. Unbelievable. Yeah. So there was no way you were going to get an increased gas tax when your federal government just passed a budget through the Senate, the House, and the White House, giving massive tax breaks to businesses to buy heavyweight, inefficient fuel vehicles. Why would you now tax them to death with a gas tax? That makes no sense. So no Republican would ever sponsor an increase in the national gas tax. But these heavy vehicles on the roads would tear up the pavement and would create more deterioration. But that we can always fix that with budget increases. And of course, the trickle-down effect is good, isn't it? If people get richer, they spend more money, and the poor get more of it. Doesn't that how it works? Because that's how you solve homelessness in the United States. You just make the rich richer, and then they can spend that money into the economy, and then the pennies get picked up by the poor, and they end up in wonderful middle-class homes across the United States. Their children go to the finest schools. They become the finest representatives of our neighborhoods, and we don't have inner city crime, and we don't have any homelessness, and it's all good. That was the theory, starting with Reaganomics in the 80s. Still don't know if that's been working or not. I'm not sure. That's right. Hillary had more votes, but she lost because of democracy. That's right. Oh, too much fun. Just too much fun. It's funny, here in Canada, we had a federal election three and a half years ago. Going into the election, the Liberals had a minority government. They didn't have enough votes to run the House of Commons. They had to make deals with another party to stay in power. So the NDP, the National Democratic Party, which is more left of the Liberals, the two of them teamed up and they formed a coalition sort of thing, an unofficial coalition. And they lasted 3 years, and then the 3 years is up, and then they went back to the polls. And the Canadians were given a choice. Who do you want to vote for? The Conservatives, which are the Republicans, the Liberals, which are the Democrats, NDP, which are left of the Democrats, or the Separatist Party for Quebec, which they only want to run people in Quebec to separate from Canada. But it's so stupid. The Canadians voted in the same numbers. They voted in just as many Liberals, Conservatives, and New Democrats as the last election, because Canadians love this balance of power stuff being shared, because you can't go radical to the left, you can't go radical to the right. You have to stay in the middle to appease the most Canadians as possible with this sort of loose coalition. The Conservatives are going nuts. They can't stand it. They're just going, we used to be the party of power in Canada through the 90s and most of the 2000s. And then this Liberal thing with Trudeau showed up, and we can't get back in. And because Canadians have figured out, no, if you guys get back in, you go radical to the right. I mean, you guys go way over here, and we're just not interested. And if we give Trudeau the whole shebang, he'll go radical to the left. We're better off just having a saw-off here. and this watch you guys slowly turn over new leaders. So in the Conservative Party, they've had 2 leaders since the Prime Minister Harper retired or was kicked out by Canadians. He was kicked out. You've had 2 new leaders since, and they can't get traction. Trudeau just keeps running the party as long as he wants to, because he's in his late 40s, in early 50s. He's got time, and the Democrats are going, we can't get more than 20% of the vote. We just can't. We can never break out and become the government. They just won't give it to us. Yeah, they're too to the left. And that's how this country runs up here. Canadians are just going, this is just fine. This is just fine. Let's keep it moderate down the middle and kind of keep these Looney Tunes on both sides over there and just go down the middle. I think America would love that, but there is no way for that to happen unless you have a Senate on one party, a Congress on the other party, and then your president is sort of kind of down the middle if you can, but boy. Oh, so much fun. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Here you go. The Democrats have to win big to win. That's true. BP UK has a fuel duty rate of 52.95 pence per liter. There's a 4.5 liter for 1 imperial gallon plus the VAT at 20%. That's right. That's why a gallon of gas in the UK can be as much as $9 a gallon or more. It can be unbelievably expensive, and of course, average middle class people who have a vehicle in the UK or in Europe operate very fuel efficient cars. They don't ride in V8 powered Challengers or 350 Hemi operated pickup trucks in Europe. That's not the norm. That is the abnorm. That's true. Quite amazing. In any event, folks, welcome to the party. We have 17 minutes to go before we open today, and the markets are going nowhere. We're up 24 points on the Dow. We're up 3 on S&P, 1 on NASDAQ. We're not going anywhere. Crude is up 20 cents a barrel. 20 cents a barrel for crude oil. We're not going anywhere there either. A GameStop this morning looks like it's $21.99 last I saw. We'll just get an update here. Get my watch list updated here for you and see what's going on. Yeah, $21.99. Rocket Lab is up 4 cents. SoFi is up 2 cents. GameStop down 8. Matterport is up 5 cents. 23andMe is up 4. Nothing on Spire. ATIP, not much going on there. SmartRent is up 17 cents, but I think I saw 0 volume this morning. 50 shares. So we're going to use, we're not going to even count that. Sextera is up maybe 1 penny, 3/4 of a penny. Apple is down $1.71. Goldman is up 83 cents. Cisco's up 14. Tesla's up 74 cents. We're talking fractional moves here. ARC Innovation's up 12 cents. Microsoft is up 35 cents. Pfizer up 7. HPQ down 19 cents. Google up 28. Amazon up 37. Nvidia up down 282 on Nvidia. Was down $4 Friday. 309.82 on Nvidia. It's had a good run lately. And Unity is up 16 cents. That's the deal there. Yeah, that's all that's going on in the market. It's a very quiet session so far. Very light indications here. It's laughable. It's just laughable. It's like I said, from the outside looking in, we chortle all the way. We just go, this is pathetically funny, when it isn't, but it is, and we're going nowhere fast. The U.S. 10-year Treasury is 3.69%. We were in the 3.5 level, but this is nothing much. The foreign currency markets, the euro was 110, 112. It's now 108. The pound used to be 124, 25 is 124. We're not going anywhere there either. Asia is up fractionally at the moment. Europe today is down fractionally today, 1/3 of a point. tenth of a. There's not much going on. It's really a quiet range here. You could say pundits, if they were pressed, why is it so quiet? The so-called experts, economists will say, well, it's because we're all waiting for McCarthy and Biden to have a meeting. Well, you want to know what the meeting is going to generate? Nothing. We're just going to talk more. That's all you're going to get out of this. A breakthrough announcement? There's no breakthrough announcement coming. This is only the 22nd of May. The United States runs out of money in 8 days. This is an eternity. This is forever. We have a whole week of this crap and good part of next week of this crap before anything gets announced about anything. And all that's going to happen, the most you could possibly hope for is we're going to kick the can down the road and extend the debt ceiling by 30 days. That's it. This is not going away. Why would McCarthy make a deal with Biden and put this debt ceiling problem away until after the federal election? You can't have that. As a Republican, you need something to hold the American economy hostage. This is a hostage taking. What you do is you make the markets nervous that the U.S. government might not pay its bills. You create uncertainty in the stock market, and you blame the Democrats on that. That's the playbook. The Democrats know this, by the way. It's not like this is a surprise to the Democrats. And the voters actually also really know this, except for the newest crop of voters, those who were 14, 15 years old and who will be 18 or 19 when it's time to elect the next president. Those voters don't know the history of the debt ceiling crap. But then again, the 14 to 15-year-olds 4 years ago, next year, they haven't been studying politics very much. Has it been exciting for a 16-year-old child to follow federal politics so that when they become 18, they're full of vim and vinegar and they can't wait to go to the ballot box and be an adult? They don't know who's who in the zoo. They have no idea. I mean, what media are these kids following to get their taste of politics? I remember 15, 20 years ago, the youth of America and even Canada got their political information from Saturday Night Live and Comedy Central, the comedy show with Jon Stewart. That's how they got their politics. Where are they getting it from today? Television? Not television. No. So, yeah, it's pretty goofy. It's pretty goofy. Anyway, there you go. BP says the petrol average price is $1.50 a liter in pounds. That's $6.82 per imperial gallon for the U.S., by the way. That's what this is right there. Okay. I use premium gasoline in my car and mowers. Good morning, all. 86 thumbs up. Thank you, Mandu. Biden won't tolerate malarkey. Bobby Atkinson, these kids are getting news from memes now. That's right. That's right. Yeah, you gotta wonder. Oh, the world has changed so much, hasn't it? Hasn't it just changed so much? Boy, the last 3 years, we have really seen a change in this planet for the G7 countries. For so many of us, our worlds have completely changed. I'm so excited for those of you who are in your 20s and 30s and 40s, for those of you out there who are going to be active, very active in this world, which you should be between age 30 and between 20 and 40, going all the way the next 30 years. You guys are the next generation to take this world to the next level. And I'm excited for you because of the potential and possibilities that lay in front of you. Don't get caught up in this crap about, oh, our governments are so indebted we can't even move forward as a country. Don't fall for that. We got that story in the 70s, the 60s. We were getting this story back then. I remember the phrase in this day and age. That coined phrase was from the '60s. In this day and age, we can't afford radical new ideas or policies. This is the same old mantra every time. What I love about Back to the Future is when Marty McFly goes back to 1955 and the car goes by and says, "Re-elect Mayor so and so, lower taxes," and is same old re-elect Goldie Wilson in the year whatever it was, 1980, 2080, whatever it was, 1988, 2005. Mayor Goldie Wilson, lower taxes. Same crap. Even then, it hasn't changed. It will never change. 30 years from now, kids, those of you who are 20 years old and you're going to be 50 in 30 years, yes, you are. You're going to be 50. The politician that's going to be running for office are going to be your classmates who are 20 something now with you. They're going to be in their 50s. They're going to be running for office. And what's their mantra going to be? Lower taxes and get government out of our lives. There will be no change whatsoever. So I will tell you all, those of you who are here, zero in on your own lives, zero in on your own needs, and get ahead yourselves. If you better yourself and your family financially, it'll all take care of itself. You'll be fine. I did read an article this weekend in the Wall Street Journal talking about, and I love these kinds of articles. This article had to do with 6 different stories of 6 people or couples that retired. These are Americans who retired overseas. They left the United States to live out their retirement years outside the country. I found it fascinating. I love stories like this because I was an expatriate for a couple of years, leaving Canada and living in the Cayman Islands, and being part of that life. It gives you a different perspective on the world. It really does. When you are not in your home country and you don't have a vote where you are, you are just a guest of a country. I love these stories. I love it where these Americans, they talked about one couple that lived in Paris that spent $135,000 a year in their lifestyle by choice. Another couple that live in Portugal that spend about $35,000 a year by choice. A single woman who lives in Costa Rica, if I recall, she spent $16,000 a year. There were all kinds of examples. It ran the gamut because that's the thing about living in the rest of the world. Depending on where in the world you go, you are subject to the budget of that area. And you have to decide if you are going to leave the US or Canada, or you're going to leave the UK. Where can you retire? Where can you get a visa? And where can you afford to live? This kind of thing. And can you handle the paperwork and the administration and all the stuff the stress you have to pay? It's a stress tax. Can you handle the stress of the move? And then once you've made the move, can you handle living that far away, sometimes very far away from where you are from? For some people, they relish in it, absolutely relish it. Others dread it. It runs the gamut. And I found it a fascinating read. I love stuff like that. And again, you don't have to care who your council member is in your hometown. You really don't. You don't have to care who the mayor is. You don't have to care who your governor is. You don't have to care who your president is. You have to be in a position to take control of your world and make it work for you. And if the world you're in, if you're in a certain part of a country and it's not working for you there, maybe it's not the country that's the problem. Maybe the solution for you is you just go somewhere else where it can work for you. And maybe you take the blinders off and go look around and see if it's better somewhere else, because so many people get sucked in to the idea that, oh, you're in the best place possible. You couldn't be in a more fantastic place than where you are now. You're in the greatest city in the world, the greatest state, the greatest county, the greatest country, the greatest hemisphere. Open up your eyes, people. You're part of the global planet Earth, is where you're from, actually. Check the planet out first. Do that first, and then decide where you really want to hang out. You might be shocked at a move 100 miles away makes all the difference. A move 500 miles away, a move 5,000 miles away makes the difference. You don't know until you see it for yourself. You can rely on others, but you're getting secondhand information that is not pertinent to you specifically, personally. Just saying. Sometimes it's just, it's simple as, if we were to live there instead of where we are, I think we'd be a lot better off in many ways. Because you got to take the pluses and the minuses. You write them down. Write down the pluses and the minuses and figure out whether you want to make a move or not. Just saying. Taking over control of your life is a pretty good idea no matter what. And I congratulate those of you who have done so here through this channel. I commemorate so many of you who have taken the leap to say, you know what, Bruce, I am going to take over control of my investments. I'm going to take control of my life. I am not going to be an employee anymore. I'm not interested in being one of the 500 people in my department. And I am not going to hope and pray that the new department head that just took over this division in the last month or so will look upon me as a serious team player. I'm going to change that. I'm not going to depend on the owner, the nephew of the owner, liking me and keeping me around. I'm not going to play this game. And I say, way to go, kids. Absolutely way to go. It's time for you to take control of your life and run it yourself. Because the one person you can count on is the one in the mirror you can look at you can count on that person. You can't count on anything else. Anyway, there you go. You remember that movie, Horrible Bosses? Do you remember that movie with those three guys who wanted to kill their bosses? And was it Jason Sudeikis? He and the owner of the company were tight. They saw everything eye to eye, but the son of the owner was a complete screw up. And then the owner has a heart attack, and now the son is running the company, and this poor guy, Jason Sudeikis, has to answer to this moron as his boss. How many of you out there have had an inkling of that, a little episode of that in your lives, in your careers? I had that happen to me once, and oh my gosh, the turmoil that created within the branch office that I was part of. It was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, there you go. What can I say? It's not personal. It's just business. Nazareth, boy, have you got that right. Absolutely. BP says the UK, April the 1st, 2023, the VAT turned 50 years old. Celebrated 50 years since being introduced. Wow. Anyway, don't move too much around the world. You end up where you started, says Boris. The VAT was heralded as a simple tax when introduced in 73, but has proved anything but in the intervening years. No kidding. Crazy stuff. Yeah, Wall Street Journal article. Here's what it looks like when Americans retire overseas. 6 retirees open up about the financial and personal challenges of relocating abroad. I found that a really neat article. I really liked it. VAT remains a key source of government tax revenue, and the 50th anniversary provides the perfect opportunity to reflect on how to make sure that it remains fit for the purposes of the future. BP from the UK VAT government sources. That's where that is. Yes. It's insane. What can I say? Larry Titus, the bells have rung. Splair says, I totally agree. The one in the mirror is the one that can change everything for the better. That's correct. Larry, thank you for hitting the bells. We're open now for trading. And let's see if we get you guys we get you guys richer this week. I think you're going to get richer myself. Option writers, do not fear the upside. The markets are not going to weigh on you. There will be pockets of success, but there will be pockets of despair. And then there's just the markets in general. Excuse me. Premiums will keep coming in. Gamblers will be desperate to find a win on the markets, and they will pay dearly for a lottery ticket that you can provide them and say, thank you. Here's a lottery ticket for you. Why don't you buy an option on my stock at a premium for the next 3 or 4 months? Give me a whole bunch of money up front, and then good luck to you. There you go. Anyway, we'll see what's going on here. The markets right now are off at the moment. I think the Dow's off about 12, 19 points. Fed's Bullard backs 2 more interest rate hikes. Again, these are federal governors with their opinions. They're allowed to talk right now. Soon they'll be in the quiet period. S&P is up 1 3/4 points. The NASDAQ is up 5 points. We got nothing going on. It's a nothing burger. Oil's up 24 cents. There is nothing going on here to get excited about is the entire package, because the debt ceiling story is the one everyone is watching. And nothing's going to happen until next week. It's going to be at least 7 days for a last minute. Maybe we'll just extend it for a bit. And then we'll go through this in a month or two, and we'll do it all over again, all summer long, all fall and winter long, until the next presidential election. That's how this is going to play out. BW Uncle Bruce, I have a confession. I cheated on you, and I watched another financial YouTube video yesterday. This was his topic and seems concerning. So the markets are at all-time highs due to the top 5 companies with fake PE multiples. Yet S&P and Russell have the remaining 95% of the companies listed, bringing up the rear, and most hitting 52-week lows. What's fake? What's fake? Oh, yes. Isn't it fun how it goes? Isn't it amazing how, for example, you get these companies taking over other companies, and they get larger and larger and larger, and they get a bigger percentage of a certain marketplace. And then it becomes almost impossible for a new competitor to come into the game because they don't have the economies of scale, and they get crushed. For example, the airline business. Can you imagine an entrepreneur with $1 billion saying, I'm going to create a new airline, and I'm going to offer discount flights between Boston, New York, Washington, Philadelphia, Chicago, to offer cheap, low airfares to these centers. Every other airline, which are there, 4 other airlines, 5 other airlines, they'll all reduce their prices for those exact flights to crush this person out of business. And within a year or two, the guy loses his $1 billion plus another couple billion he borrowed, and he got nothing left. And the big 4 raise their prices again, and everyone pays through the nose for flights that should be half the price. Why is it that you can fly to London from New York or Europe for so cheap compared to New York to Los Angeles? Domestic flight, small planes, 737s, very fuel efficient, A319s, A320s. These new Airbus planes, these brand new Boeing planes, they use 15, 20% less fuel to fly from LA to New York. And yet you will pay more to fly there than you will to London in a giant plane with services, meals, the whole 9 yards. Isn't it amazing? And that's including taxes and fees too, which is just mind-numbing. In Canada, it's insane. To fly within Canada is more expensive than to fly internationally. It's because they got you. There's no competition. No competition can come in. You'll get crushed. It's all legal. And that's the game. The bigger business keeps out the little guy. Simple as that. Spicy Android, the bells, bing, bing, bing. We're up and going. Yes, indeed, we are. We're up. We're down. What are we down? We're up. We're up 34 points on the Dow right now. The market's trying to figure out its direction. It started negative. Now it's slightly positive. GameStop is up 19 cents at $22.25. Dropped almost $1 on Friday when it was all said and done. Yeah, we're up 39 points. S&P is up 8. Nasdaq's up 29. Oil up 17 cents. See what's going on here. Rocket Lab is up a dime. SmartRent is up 9 cents. AI is up 45. Unity up 47. GameStop is up 17. SoFi unchanged at 493. Tesla's up 293, 183 bucks a share. Apple down 90 cents, 93 cents. Google is up 221. Moderna's up 70. Cisco up 3. Pfizer's up 11. IBM up 57. ATIP unchanged. Cyxtera down 0.3 of a penny. HPQ down 4 cents. Microsoft up 150. Not much going on. I mean, Home Depot is up 53 cents. Amazon down 37. Vanek Vectors down 106. Netflix up 220. Adobe up 97 cents. Goldman up 30. Boeing up 43. Facebook up 326. What else going on? Target down 153. JP Morgan up 190. Costco down $1. Walmart down 18. Disney down 89. Nvidia down 543. And American Airlines is down 70 cents to 14.12. At the moment, there you have it. That's where we're at. Dow Jones up 62 points so far this morning. It's a nothing burger overall. Apple stock downgraded as analyst warns that revenue could disappoint. That's a headline that just came across. Well, we'll see about that. Those of you who've written options on Apple, congratulations. If that's what the analyst thinks going on, the stock isn't going anywhere. Telling me that if you've rolled your options on Apple lately to reflect the fact that Apple's hit new highs for the year, you're going to be a happy camper because we're down 79 cents now, and we might be down $3-4 more from here, maybe $5-6, putting the stock well below the 176 level and putting your options at zero, which would be lovely if you've written calls on Apple. Well, it wouldn't be so bad. By the way, 108 thumbs ups. Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning on a quiet day today. 108 thumbs ups. Keep them coming in if you can. Apple, 174.37, down 79 cents. Google up 244. Moderna up 90. Cisco up 9. Pfizer up 19. IBM up 75 cents. We got some green, yeah, but not a lot. Yeah, not a lot. Up 12 cents on Rocket Lab, 479. And SmartRent up 7.7 to 350.8. AI is up, Unity is up, GameStop ahead 17 points, and SoFi up a half a penny, 493.5. The regional banking talk is calming down more and more. It just seems to be falling off the radar now. PacWest, the Pacific Western Bank, made a deal over the weekend to sell off $2-something billion of construction financing loans and brought in a bunch of capital and took debt off its books, and they're making their moves to keep the regulators happy, but depositors happy, and the market is moved on to other crises now. The crises of the debt ceiling, which isn't a crisis, it's just a manufactured political clown show, is what it is. Maria Powell, good morning, 109 thumbs up. Congratulations. You know what's funny? Donald Trump hasn't announced that he and Mike Pence are going to run together in the next election. You'd think that they'd be a team again. Bring us back. But looks like Mike Pence is going on his own, and we don't know who they're going to go with for a VP. Can you imagine being a VP to Ron DeSantis, a VP to Pence, or a VP to Trump Part 2? I mean, who is interested in this job? You got to be a bootlicker of extraordinary proportions. I mean, you got to be the biggest patsy of all time to be the VP of one of these guys. Oh my God, you got to wonder. Oh my gosh, it's scary. It's just mind numbing to me. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Clown Show. Can I say, we watch it from the outside looking in and going, really? That's what's going on over there? No, can't be serious. But yeah, they are. We're up 20 cents on GameStop, 22.24, 22.26. But the volume on GameStop is 137,000 shares. SoFi volume, we're up 5.5 cents to 4.98. 1.6 million. Just hit $5 on SoFi. We just hit $5 on SoFi. Go SoFi, go! I just learned a new description for people like that. Bootlicker. That's a good one. Oh yeah, the bootlickers. That's. Oh, Pence is the ultimate. I mean, did you remember? Do you remember those cabinet meetings in the White House when the cameras were let in at the beginning of the cabinet meeting, and you have Trump sitting at the middle of the table, and then all around Trump were his cabinet people, and they were all given a chance to speak and to all tell the president how proud they were to be serving in his administration. It all started with Pence. He was the first. And he would praise Donald Trump for the wonderful opportunity to serve for him and the ideals and for the American people. Oh, the bootlicker was licking the boots, and everyone followed along with the program. Oh, it was just excruciating to watch such. Oh, I can't even describe it. It's so gut-wrenchingly awful to see something like that. Oh, it was happening. All right. It was so happening. DKNG is taking off again. DraftKings, go, Bobby, go. SoFi, $5, up 7 cents. 1.9 million volume. Nothing great, but it is higher. SoFi at $5 a share. Well, we'll see what happens there. The Dow's up 65. Rocket Lab is up 9.5. SmartRent up 5.5. AI up 94. Unity up 65. GameStop up 19. Tesla up 343. Apple still down 46 cents. Google up 278. Moderna up 143. Cisco up 6. Pfizer up 33. IBM up 84 at the moment. Microsoft is up 218. Amazon down 28 cents. Home Depot up 135. Netflix up 360, Adobe up $2, Goldman up a quarter, Boeing up 52 cents, Facebook is up $5, the old Meta. The good old Meta, Royal Caribbean down 12 cents. Okay. There's not tons going on here. What's that DraftKings doing actually? DraftKings. There it is, up 91 cents to 25.02. Gambling. It's amazing to me here in Canada when we watch like Hockey Night in Canada, we watch our hockey playoffs. The advertising has been changed in the last 5 years dramatically on the hockey telecast. The lead ads used to be the beer companies and the food companies like KFC and Burger King and McDonald's. Then we had banks trying to get the young male and females who are just graduating to open up bank accounts with them and take out loans so they could form a lifelong addiction to their services. Now, the leading advertisers on hockey games, and I'm sure in the U.S. with any sporting event, gambling firms, the DraftKings of the world, and these licensed gaming outfits from various provinces in Canada. Apparently, the province of Ontario, which is the most populated province we have, home of Toronto, the big market there, the billions of dollars wagered by young males is staggering. It's 18 to 35-year-olds are the biggest demographic of wagerers in sports. And the Ontario government is raking in billions in actual commissions. It's tens of billions being wagered. And the government of Ontario is raking in a ton of money. They're spending money gambling and less on drinking, although if they're buying any recreational marijuana, the government's raking in the money on that too. So in Canada, you have provincial governments bringing in sin tax. We call them sin taxes. Taxes from sin, smoking, drinking, gambling, and cannabis coming into the provincial coffers like you cannot believe. It is incredible. I watched the hockey playoffs on CBC down here in the U.S. I don't think I've seen a Molson or a Labatt or any alcohol commercial this entire playoff. Yeah, they have been outbid for business. The beer companies used to dominate hockey. Absolute hockey ads used to be beer companies. Now it's the gambling firms. They're the ones. It's incredible. And these ads are so aggressive. They're charged up with aggressive music and talk and macho, like you're a tough guy, you're the winner, you're everything. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's incredible. Fast food is a sin tax. There you go. Most interesting what's happening in that world. Anyway, what can I say? The Dow is negative, down 31.5. We've gone negative. We're down 7 on We're up 7 on S&P, up 45 on NASDAQ, but the Dow has done an about face and looks like it's just lost 100 points. Oil has gone negative now. We're negative 18 cents a barrel in Texas, 71.55. We were up about 40 cents, 30 cents this morning. Now we're negative almost 20. We're still up on Rocket Lab Smart Rent, 5.5 cents on Rocket Lab Smart Rent, up 3.5. AI is up 87 cents. Unity up 44. GameStop is up just 5 cents now. SoFi is at 4.97, up 4. And there you go. Splair on California Insider is, by the way, an interesting video about the secret risks from cannabis. And to be honest, in a lot of points, I agree with her, but those high potency products are without enough CBD, very risky. The BW, and also I'm noticing the sponsors now on the hockey uniforms, Topgolf. Yep, there's now advertising on hockey jerseys right up here, and there's now advertising logos on the helmets starting to show up. Yeah, the players themselves have to wear advertising more and more and more. Yeah. It's becoming just like eventually you'll see a uniform and you won't know who the team is anymore because it'll be a corporate thing. It'll be corporate logos, not team logos. Yes, unfortunately, that's the way it goes. If you've ever watched a YouTube video, hockey from the 70s, early 80s, before they had rink advertising, you can't believe it. The boards are white. There's nothing on them. There's nothing on the ice except the logo of the home team. We're talking plain Jane stuff. Today, you've got digital advertising on the boards changing as the play is going on. It was pretty annoying at the beginning of the year. It's amazing how you get used to it. It's scary, isn't it? Just scary. Anyway, we're down 19 on the Dow. AI is up 119 a share. Look at that go. Unity up 68, going higher. What can I say? GameStop up a nickel. SoFi $4.99. SoFi trying to take another run at 5. 2.56 million traded. It's trying to take a run to 502, which is the high of the day, and it might just be doing it as we speak. It looks like SoFi is right now 502. It's at the high of the day right now. Up 9 cents on SoFi. Back through 5. Okay. Very interesting. 22.13 on GameStop. The high of the session looks like it was 22.27. 22.27 was the high. 22.13 is the current price on GameStop. Looks like Rocket Lab is coming closer to $5. This Splair. And whatever happened to the puck making a red line or blue line when it moved around? Whatever to that. Manager closed Unity and AI cash secured puts on a small run up, and I locked in a cool $4,400. Not bad for writing it on a Friday, getting out today. Thanks, DQ, for the last minute CSP sell. BW, I can't wait until they have so many sponsors in all the sports that everyone just dresses up like a NASCAR driver. Have Shonda running laps in that. Yep. You'll just be wearing corporate logoed clothing. The Dow is off 35 now. A little bit of down pressure on the Dow. It was still up 10 on S&P and 67 on the NASDAQ. That's what we got there. But the AI is up 115. Unity up 91. GameStop up 16 again, 22.22. We're climbing on GameStop. 502 on your SoFi. The high of the day now, 503 on SoFi, 2.8 million. Not heavy volume, but definitely moving higher. Tesla's still up on the day, 524 to the upside, 185.38. Apple is down 71 cents. Google up 337. Moderna up 119. Cisco down 8 cents. Pfizer's up 23 cents. 36.98. Pfizer improving a bit. IBM up 26 cents at the moment. HBQ down 11. Microsoft is up 333. Nice day there. Amazon down 28. Home Depot unchanged. Vanik down 34. Netflix up 460. Adobe up 260. Goldman up 140. Boeing up 8. Meta up 620 today. Yeah, so we got a mixed thing going on here. Down 41 on the Dow now. SoFi 504, new high on SoFi. There you go. TJ says to BW, that would be cool if they did that in Washington. Make all the politicians wear jackets with sponsors on them. Make it declare who elected you, who gave the most to your super PAC and to your re-election campaign. Who are you a patsy of? Nick DeMaurier, 118 thumbs ups. Thank you, everybody. I did enjoy the movie. That's now at least 15 years old, maybe 20 years ago. Michael Moore made a movie about healthcare, comparing U.S. healthcare to Canada healthcare, to UK, to France, and a few other countries. And how at the beginning of the movie, he was showing members of Congress that were coming into they were at like a convention and they were coming onto the stage. Maybe it was CPAC or something like that. And what he did is he had arrows pointed at every one of them as they came onto the stage. And he was telling you, this is how much money the health industry donated to this politician's campaign. And these were congressmen and senators. And it was stunning. This is like 2002 or 3 when Bush was the president of the United States, the son. At that time, the Congress was trying to pass a bill that would forbid the U.S. government from negotiating drug prices, the cost of drugs for Americans from the drug companies. It was illegal for the U.S. government to use its buying power as a chip to keep drug costs down. The Republicans passed a bill to deny that. That is still law, if I recall. Anyway, the Congress people coming out from the Republican Party, he was showing off how much money they each got from the drug companies. It was shocking, staggering. And then he later in the movie, he was showing off, okay, of all the Republicans that voted to pass this legislation, in the subsequent like 2 to 4 years after that was done, these Republicans here are now lobbyists for the drug companies. And then he rattled off all the former congressmen and senators who were now lobbyists for the drug companies. And that was staggering. And he was showing off how much money they were getting paid. They were becoming millionaires from the drug companies, who were becoming trillionaires because of the fact that they did not have to give the United States government the best price for drugs. They could charge whatever they wanted to charge for medication. So the American taxpayer paid the highest prices in the world for medication, even though they were the largest buyer of the drugs and didn't get a volume discount. It's a great country when you run it. It's a really great country when you can run it your way. Anyway, there you go. So much fun. Nick DeMaurier, 118 thumbs up. Bobby, Idiocracy Style of Washington, D.C. That movie was made in like 2003 or 5. Right? That's like 20 years ago. Yeah, quite amazing. What can I say? Democracy at its finest. All right, the Dow's up 53 points. Rocket Lab up 5.5. Smart Rent up 7. 350 on Smart Rent. AI up $1.40. 26.69. Nice recovery today. Up 94 on Unity. 30.04 on Unity now. 30.08 up again. GameStop 22.22. Trying to reach a new high. The high was 22.27 a while ago. Now 22.25 on GameStop. We're only 2 cents away from the high of the day on GameStop. 22.27 is the high. 22.25 is the last trade. SoFi is higher. 5.06 now. The high of the day is 5.07. We are up 14 cents on your SoFi. 5.06, 5.07 right now. We saw 5.12 last week, something like that. 5.13. We're zooming in, coming in on a high of the last week and a half here on SoFi. For the last month, the high was 6.24, April 28th or so. So we got a ways to go, but if we get through this recent high, break into the 525, 550 range, then 6 is next. Interesting on SoFi today. The Dow's down 77. SoFi's up 13 cents. That's interesting. 3% gain on SoFi, everybody. GameStop now, 22.28. I think that's a new high of the day on the GameStop shares. Let me double check that. 22.29 just set. Yep, this is the high of the day on GameStop. 22.30, another high on a volume of 245,000. So GameStop's at the high of the day. SoFi is near its high of the day. Unity, the high of the day at 30.15. AI 26.82 up 150. That's the high of the day around. That's near the range right here. Smart Rent 354. That's the high of the day range. Rocket Lab is 480 was the high. We're at 472, so we're a little below that. We're down 119 on the Dow. The Dow goes down even further. Tesla up 4. Apple down $1. Google up 350. Moderna up 39. Cisco down 28. Pfizer down is up 3. IBM up 11 at the most. We got mixed results everywhere else, but some of our favorites are hitting highs. Interestingly, while this Dow seems to be at its lower level of the day, but it's only down 110. This is a nothing burger. This is 0.4 of a point, not half a point, like nothing going on. Oh my goodness. Hi, Bruce. TJ says, our tax dollars also pay for most of the R&D for these drug companies. That's right. It's a free ride for these drug companies in the U.S. Absolute free ride. And where are the drug producing facilities? Where do they produce these drugs? Offshore. Although there's some in San Juan, Puerto Rico, because of huge tax breaks from San Juan. That's U.S. territory, of course, but off the mainland. But many of the U.S. drug companies produce their drugs under license overseas, and the taxpayer of the United States pays for all of it, and pays the worst price too. It's incredible. Manager, the run-up in Unity will not stand. I am shorting for 50 cents. I'm going to scalp this thing. Bobby, it was suggested since all the calls expired last Friday, there shouldn't be much holding SoFi back now. That's a possibility. Of course, SoFi, collapsed for no good reason. It was all about a couple of analysts who tried to catch lightning in a bottle. The market is seeing through that right now. And here comes the stock again for another rally. And Noto dropped $1 million in the last month again of his own money, buying up the stock. So there you go. 22.36 on GameStop. 22.36. We're up 30 cents here. The high of the day right now on GameStop. Very interesting. Down 111 on the Dow Jones right now. That's what's going on. Yeah. SoFi could have free sailing to 550. Wouldn't surprise me to see SoFi reach $6 in the next couple of weeks. Get ready for 7.5 before earnings. Next month or 2 months from now. I mean, don't be surprised. Every 3 months, you're going to get a huge piece of good news out of SoFi. Eventually, it will pop the market. dramatically. This is a nothing burger at 504. This is still cheap stuff. 22.34 on GameStop. Looking good here. Up 30 odd cents so far, but not at 23 like it was last week. So we'll wait for that. See how that goes. Fun times. Auntie Jen is in the room. How are you, Auntie Jen? How you doing today?
I'm good. It's stinky.
Yes, we've had good and bad weather here in Calgary now for the last week and a bit. Forest fire.
We're at 10 again today.
Yeah, the particulates in the air are really bad. We've had to shut the windows.
The scale is out of 10.
Yeah, the scale is a 10.
And we're at 10.
10 is bad. And last week we were 11.
Yeah.
So we're at 10 now.
But I can still see a little bit of sky. When it's really smoky, you just feel like you're in a dome. You can't see sky.
It's really rough.
But yesterday,
my voice is really
yeah, your voice, I can hear it in yours.
gravelly.
I feel it in mine.
Yeah.
But yesterday was so nice. There were people out on the river, and
It was a beautiful day
it
yesterday.
was gorgeous. Had a little bit of sprinkle.
Because the forest fires are north of us, hundreds of miles, but the smoke
It
spreads.
blows down. Yeah.
But yesterday we got a break. We had a beautiful day yesterday, but this morning we're socked in again, and
We need the wind from the south.
yeah,
America, send us
Well,
your
what-
wind,
you know what we
but not
need?
your fires.
rain. We need
rain.
And there is rain in the forecast in scattered
Yeah.
pockets. Where we need it is the north, where the fires are. That's where we need the
Good
rain.
dousing.
Higher humidity and rain to knock down some of these fires.
So here's a question for the group.
Question for the group, everybody.
Yesterday, a guy drove around the blockades on the road, because I think he probably has a 4x4, and went into a restricted fire area, and the fire surrounded him, and they had to take a helicopter to rescue him and get him out. What do we think of that? Do we charge him for
Rescuing.
breaking the blockade? Do we charge him the cost of the rescue? How do you quantify taking that helicopter out of water bucket to go rescue a single person?
I would do it this way.
Or do you let him crisp?
Yeah. Figure out what the bill is.
Yeah,
Seize the truck as the first part of the bill.
yeah.
So you won't be driving that thing in fires anymore, unless it got burned up
Oh,
anyway.
I'm sure it's got it.
So then get him, if he gets an insurance settlement, which I doubt he will, get him for that.
Well, exactly, because he did an illegal action.
An illegal action. I don't think he's covered under insurance.
No, probably not.
No, I'd sue this guy for the money. I would impose a serious, make an example of this
He
renegade.
needs a really, really big dope slap.
A dope slap is, maybe it's time to get his parents and tell them that either they give him a dope slap or we give you the dope slap,
Well,
which you can give to him.
I think the guy is more like in his 40s.
Oh yeah.
So it's too late.
I would seize his rifles.
Now you just assume.
Get his AR-15 and AK-47 off of him first. Yeah.
What if he was going in to check on his animals?
I'm going to check in my house. Yeah. Well, then we'll seize the house. These people have to pay for this ridiculous, blatant.
I think they have to realize that the
disregard.
blockades are not willy-nilly decided.
Well, and there are people's lives now put on the
And there's
line
people's
to
lives.
get this guy out,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that is this cost to society that's
the cost.
unforgivable.
Yeah.
Unforgivable.
Right.
If
Yeah.
someone had died trying to get this guy out.
Yeah, what if the helicopter went down?
Yeah, I mean, geez, ridiculous. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I nail this guy.
Yeah.
Nail. What can I say? Splair, it depends. Was he drunk? Mandu
Yeah.
also risking the first responders' lives, right? Good
Exactly.
morning, Andy Jen from Mandu number 5.
Good morning, Mandy number 5.
No,
No,
I'm not sure.
that's
what's going
another number 5.
Oh, Boris says we had the same situation in my country this winter. People drove through closed roads. They got caught by an avalanche. Rescuers risked their lives to find them, to get them out.
Yeah.
They were fine. I totally agree with this. Splair, thoughts same as Auntie Jen, and maybe he had no clue about the fire there. Oh, he had every clue.
Oh, yeah,
He knew
great
all
clue.
about it. Boris, and we were talking about thousands of dollars worth of fines.
Yes.
I agree. I think it's $100,000 fine. The cost of the helicopter probably was 15, 20 grand. So we're going to multiply that by 5. Punitive damages.
And taking
Get
it
the
out
point
of
across.
taking it out of the rotation, the bucket rotation.
Get the point across. Absolutely.
Right.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I have no sympathy
And
for
if I
something like
come
that.
through and tell you to evacuate and you choose not to, I will not come back and rescue
Well,
you.
then there's that.
That is the decision you have to
Yeah.
make. You can no longer phone, and you see this all the time when they're flooded out when the hurricanes come, and then they phone 911.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold, please.
The hurricane, come and rescue me from the hurricane that I didn't leave.
Yeah.
I could have left 6 days ago when the
But I
governor
chose
declared
not
a
to.
state of emergency. I stayed in my house,
I didn't
and now
think it
the
would be that
water
bad.
the water is up to
Yeah.
the ceiling in the dining room. I need firemen to come and get me. Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Get your life preserver
I'm not
on
gonna
and
risk
have a
their
nice
lives.
life.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. GameStop 22.47 now.
Woohoo.
Having touched 22.50, we're on the way higher up 41 cents on
Holding on
GameStop.
to that 22.
Coming back on, and SoFi at 506 up 13 cents. There you go. Let's see, what do we got here? Miss Blair is saying, I'm still informing myself on what's going on in the area. Even when there were animals, he was panicking. He could maybe inform someone in the first place. This guy. They just take it upon themselves to
they don't believe that it's really as bad as what they say.
Oh, they think they know best. No, Boris.
They tell us this every year to evacuate, and it's never that bad. So
That's right. People won't learn otherwise. Money talk, says Boris. JR, good morning, Auntie Jen. Sounds like another orange day there with all the smoke. We get them here in California times, but nothing what you guys are describing. A sheepy investor, maybe his Bitcoin is there.
That's it. That's
I got to rescue my
gold.
Bitcoin. There you go.
That's okay. It'll melt.
It'll melt.
Pick it up. When you go back.
Yeah. Pick up the melted blob of.
Yeah, it's still gold.
Yes.
It might not look as pretty, but it's still gold.
Yeah. Craziness. Sheepy is the Splairs liking what Sheepy said. We are climbing. Look at the GameStop 22.59 climbing again. 22.59 high of 22.62.
Are they coming out with numbers soon?
I'm thinking they are soon. They're going to tell us how they're doing soon. The Dow's off 150. But GameStop is definitely rallying right now. I don't have any.
Good for them. They can be an outlier.
I don't have any news on SoFi. Nothing. On GameStop. There's nothing official on GameStop, but it's up to 22.58 right now. Volume on GameStop today 359,000.
Would you like a throat lozenge to plaque around in your mouth and drive people's ears crazy?
No, I don't want to do that on the air. We're down 199 on the Dow. Jen and I will not be here on Friday. We have a familial obligation we're going to take care of this weekend. Monday, of course, the markets are closed. So the markets are closed Monday.
What are you going to do sleeping in? Well, we're not sleeping.
We're not sleeping in. I'm not. This is not a day off for yours truly at all on Friday. We have a familial obligation I don't want to get into that we have to look after, and it's been coming for almost 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
We have to take care of something, and it requires a bit of our time and our attendance. So I will be back on next Tuesday, but I'm here all day today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, but I'm off Friday just to give you a heads up. Don't forget, Wednesday night prime time with Uncle Bruce, now at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. on Wednesday nights.
So Europe can stay up late.
So you folks in Europe, in the UK, it's 11 o'clock at night, not 1 in the morning. A little better. I don't know. Anyway, there you have it. We'll see what's going on. Here we have Bobby saying, estimated June 7th, as per Discord, the earnings for GameStop, says Bobby. Splair, by the way, didn't mention it until now. So good morning, Auntie Jen. Hope you both had a good weekend. Thank you very much.
Morning. Yeah,
we are still unpacking. We are still assembling.
The house, yes.
We bought a bunch of IKEA stuff, and we have
Shelves.
5 shelving units to put together. 2 done, 3 to go.
We can
They
do it in
look
our suite
great.
now. They're easy to put together.
They're easy to put together. They look
Yeah.
great, and we don't have room for the other 3 right now. We're just one at a time.
Yeah,
And
unpack, you fill.
we move enough boxes around, unpack enough boxes, we can build another shelving unit, and then we can put boxes of crap in the shelving unit, and then build them. So we're working on that. We have a long way to go.
And for some reason,
gonna get
the bin that said craft books that I really felt deep down were my craft
it
books.
was the toolbox.
It was the toolbox. There were all your tools.
We couldn't find the toolbox. We found the toolbox. GameStop,
How about found the craft
22.69.
boxes? 69. It jumped by a dime.
22.69 is going higher. 22.70
Somebody's
on
throwing in a market buy.
GameStop. We're up 64 cents on GameStop today. Beautiful. Beautiful. I want it to go higher so my viewers get richer,
What the bids look like. I bet they're good.
and then they'll do the
Well,
rollovers.
I'm going to go out and try to coax the AC into working so the filters.
Let's see if that works. Yeah. Across
Goodbye,
our
everybody.
fingers.
Enjoy your GameStop.
Let's see if there's any more comments for Auntie Jen here. Dean, good morning. I slept in
Good morning.
this Canadian holiday. It is a Canadian
It
holiday
is
today.
Canadian holiday.
I am working on a Canadian holiday. Manager, see how right I was on Unity. It had topped out, and it shorted. It just covered for a cool $2,400. Lots of moolah in 20 minutes? Well, way to go,
See?
manager.
Excellent.
Still at 30.05. Nice job, Splair. Uncle Bruce, could you mention it? I have a 15% discount on IKEA. Otherwise, sounds still stressful. Hope you have next month still some weekends to relax. Sheepy investor, what is taking up the most storage space? Family photos, crafts,
Oh,
etc.
photos. Oh my gosh, photos.
Books, craft,
Books. Not too many books.
kitchen stuff.
Yeah, we have a very
clothing.
small galley kitchen, so
Yeah.
we need to hide it.
We've purchased one of those beautiful shelving units from Costco for the kitchen, and it's already loaded.
Oh yeah, it's,
The cupboards are getting loaded, and we've got 15 more boxes to unload. It's just unbelievable.
we need to get another shelving unit in the storage room to
Yep.
put like mixers and food processors and ice cream makers.
We may have to make that hallway closet a extended
Right. Yes.
kitchen thing,
Exactly.
storage place. We're just
I
scrambling.
gotta get cooking. That's what we're saying.
We got to get cooking.
I gotta get cooking and use it all.
Beach Boy, Auntie Jen, will you let Uncle Bruce bring out class number 16 real soon? He was thinking cash secured puts
He
and or
was.
buy right. Was he now? Dude, Motley Fool has a very positive article on SoFi, one banking stock to buy and hold forever. That was published
nice.
today. SoFi now 507, GameStop 2276, going up to 23 right in front of our eyes, 2278. 2280, we're at 2280 on GameStop right now, the high of the day. Manager, today I'm just going to play Unity. It goes up, I will short, goes down, cover, rinse and repeat. Beach Boy, since the last 101, it was kind of public. It might as well do number 16, Bruce. You might as well do class
Yes.
16.
Yes, I heard what was going on there.
Sheepy,
What?
we're not going there. Sheepy investor, I'm decluttering too. Books you don't plan on rereading, you can donate. Oh, don't we know a
you
Sheepy
tried.
and reorganizing with clear storage containers? Yeah, don't we know that? DQ
Yeah.
127 thumbs up. JR Sco SoFi. I'm holding for sure. 507 on SoFi, 2280 on GameStop.
Awesome.
The high of the day, 2280 on GameStop. Jen, thank you. We'll see you later. 445,000 GameStop traded today. SoFi 507 high of the day, 508. Now 508 right now, 508. 5.85 million. 5.85 million on SoFi. SoFi is moving. GameStop is moving. The Dow's still down 95. Welcome to the party, pals. We're trying to stay up on this market as much as we can. What is going on? What can I say? There you have it. Down 106 on the Dow, unchanged on S&P, up 41 on NASDAQ, oil down 11 cents. Bobby Atkinson, last week, Motley Fool asked if she'd be buying SoFi. Beach Boy, DQ is here. Manager, just bought 5,000 more SoFi at 508. Here you go, Jim. Just bought 5,000 more SoFi at 508. With the short profits, I now have 370,000 SoFi. DQ, morning, Beach Boy. DQ, well, afternoon to you. There you go. Welcome, everyone, to the party. Rocket Lab up 8 cents. SmartRent is up 9. AI up 194 to 27.22. Unity 30.02 up 92. GameStop is up 70 cents, 22.74 to 80, roughly in that neighborhood, is where we seem to be at on GameStop. The high of the session looks like 22.80 and 22.76 right now. SoFi 508 up 14 cents. I think we're at the high of the day. All right. What year? 1984 says large explosion near the Pentagon just announced. My goal is to get 400,000, says manager, on SoFi DQ. That'll probably be next week. Dow is down 90. And let's take a look if there's any mention about this anywhere on the Pentagon thing. I got nothing there. Let's see. Anything here? And nothing there. Nothing on CNN at the moment that I can tell you about. No, I got nothing on anything from CNN out there. Let's take a look over here for Washington Post. Anything in the Post? Nope. Nothing about anything anywhere at the Pentagon to talk about. So no idea. I got nada. So we'll see what happens as the morning continues on. What's the Hallmark card you sent for that? Not sure what to make about that. All right, we're down 100 on the Dow. We are up 1 point on S&P. We're up 46 on NASDAQ. Oil down 2 cents. And I have no headlines anywhere about anything happening at the Pentagon. So I don't know what you're talking about. Welcome, everybody, to the party. Nice to have you here, kids. And there isn't much to really talk about. We're down 96 on the Dow. Rocket Lab's up 9. SmartRent up 8. AI is up $2. Unity up 91. GameStop is at 22.72. SoFi 510 up 17 cents. High of the day on SoFi, higher again. 511 for the high. 6.5 million volume at the moment. Welcome to the party, pal. Tesla's up 380. Apple's down $1. Google up 240 a share. That's what I have. 227 thumbs ups. Thank you, everybody, for the 127 thumbs ups today. Appreciate that. We are not seeing much on the story of anything but debt ceiling talks. That's it. Just debt ceiling talks is what I see going on at the moment. All righty. There we go. Welcome to the party, kids. I'm watching something on Republic News on YouTube, says Cindy B. Deuce, so far I've seen this before. Morning pump, PM dump, learn a new trick. Come on now. DQ, Bobby, yeah, because you're so rich. I'm not. I'm sure hope SoFi takes a shot. JR, dang, is CYXT going to zero? What's going on? And I wish I could tell you any more. I have no news on any of these guys. ATIP is 21. CYXT is 14. HPQ down 11. Microsoft up 270. ME up 3.5. Matterport up 4. Spire down 2 cents. Amazon down 68. HD down 86. The Dow is off 90 points at the moment. SoFi is at 510. GameStop 22.94. New high. We're going for $23 on GameStop. Far as I can tell you, GameStop going for $22.94 right now. Mm, 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 mm. The Dow's negative, S&P's up 5, NASDAQ up 58. That's what I see at the moment. Yep, 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 yep. There it is. That's what I'm looking at. Don't mind me. I'm trying to cover everything I see here. I'm trying to see everything going across here. Um, don't see anything there. Down 89 on the Dow. We're at Rocket Lab 478 up 11.5. 353 now. Smart Rent a little higher, 9.5. AI up $2. Unity up $1. GameStop 22.91. High of the day on GameStop now. 22.94 on 568,000. We're up 85 cents. 22.91, 22.93, going higher on GameStop again. SoFi is 510, high of 512, 7.2 million, going higher on SoFi. Tesla up $4, Apple down $1, Google up 250. There you go, guys. Enjoy this ride and look at rollovers. Let's see. What Year 84 is saying. What I've read about Cyxtera is the fact that they had to go for a debt restructure and their creditors are forcing them to find a sale for the company. Cannot figure out what happened, but they're in trouble. What I understand too is that their financing is coming from their largest shareholder group. It's a hedge fund, I believe, that bought SoFi years ago and has been reorganizing the company, took it public through the SPAC. And I think the SPAC deal was supposed to raise enough money to allow the hedge fund to get their capital out of the company, or allow the stock to the company to fund enough money for Cyxtera to pay off its debts, which is the largest shareholder, you see. But that deal didn't go through as well as had hoped. And so now the question is how to reorganize the company so that the number one creditor, the number one shareholder, can get their money out of there. It's the same story at ATIP. ATIP is controlled by one dominant shareholder, a hedge fund. They own most of it. Now the question is, how can you organize it in such a way to raise money from the markets to take debt financing off the back of the number one backer of the company? And that's what they're trying to come up with. And I don't know what the answer is. I know that Cyxtera has looked at multiple proposals, multiple ideas, including turning the company into a real estate REIT even. And I don't think they've found a solution yet. They're still searching. And yet Cyxtera does generate hundreds of millions of revenue. ATIP, hundreds of millions of revenue. These are two companies generating a lot of revenue. It's the net profit that's coming out is all going to debt. And they're trying to reorganize the debt in a higher interest rate environment. Not good timing. And of course, SPACs got nailed by the SEC 2 years ago, and that didn't help either. So these guys are scrambling. I'm not sure what the answer is at the moment. I don't have it. And I don't have all the inside info as to really what's going on. I don't know. All right. Anyway, there's that. Pat Merkley says, I can't find anything on CYXT anymore through SoFi stock searches or SoFi tracking. It's probably because it's classified as a penny stock and SoFi won't give info on penny stocks. I'm guessing. Am I right? I don't know. 22.93 on GameStop. 22.93. High of the day, 22.95. On GameStop, the SoFi shares 508 up 15 cents. AI up 197, Unity up 94, Rocket Lab up 13 to 480 now. Smart Rent 353 up almost a dime, and the Dow is down 95 points. The Dow down 95. There you go. Okay. 2290 to 2292 on GameStop. Alrighty. Splair depends on the broker. Somehow SmartRent went out of eToro, but Matterport is still there. Again, it all depends. We've got Tesla up 408, SoFi at 508. We're up 408 on Tesla, SoFi trading at 508. Apple down 92 cents. Google up 222. Moderna up 37 cents. Cisco down 28. Pfizer's up 19. IBM up 35. Okay. Matterport up 5.5. ME up 3.6, but Spire down 1.8. Amazon down 76 cents. Home Depot is off 59 cents. Vanik Semiconductors down 1 penny. Netflix up 460. Adobe up 120. Goldman down 240. Boeing down 11 cents. Facebook Meta up 676. Royal Caribbean at $80, 22 cents, up 62 cents on Royal Caribbean. Defies logic, but that's what it's doing. It's just what it's doing. Splair. Luckily on First Trade, I can find some of the cheapest penny stocks. No problem at all. All righty. That's what we got. The Dow is still down 86. The Rocket Lab is going up to 481, trying to get to 482. That's the high of the day over there. We got GameStop at 22.86.87 now. SoFi 510 up 16 cents. SoFi high of the day 512. We're just 2 cents away from the high. 7.8 million traded on SoFi. Definitely having an up morning so far. Thank you, everybody. We are sitting at 130 thumbs ups. Thank you, all of you who have been throwing the thumbs ups around. If you're able to hit the thumbs up button, please help us out. We appreciate it. It's a quiet one today. It's a holiday Monday in Canada. It's probably a holiday Monday elsewhere, and it's a real quiet day around here. And so not too much going on, which includes views and thumbs ups today. Again, option writers, rejoice. You do not have to worry about a market running away on you. You don't have to worry about doing all that much in rollovers, although some of you might be given the opportunity to do a rollover. You'll take advantage of it. And I say, well done, everyone. Let's see how things work out. We're at, as I say, 131 thumbs ups. Thank you very much for the support. And what else? I think I'm up to speed on all your comments here. It would appear 481 on the Rocket Lab, 351 SmartRent. Yep, 2288 on GameStop, just below the 2295 high of the session. Wouldn't surprise me if we break through 23 today, the way GameStop wants to go. Earnings next week or two. We're probably within 2 weeks of earnings for GameStop, and that will be most entertaining. 510 on SoFi, up 18 cents. Oh, we're going higher on GameStop. 22.94. We're just about at the high of the session right now. 22.95 is the high of the day. We're at 22.94 on GameStop. 22.94. Splair, in Germany, we had a holiday last week, Thursday. And by the way, wishing everybody here an already relaxed and successful trading day. I'll catch you all in the next 2 days as well. Thank you, Splair. And the best to you, too. We're on all week until Thursday. I'm on tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But I'm off the air Friday and Monday next week. Wednesday night, Primetime Live, 6 o'clock this Wednesday night. Don't forget to join, p.m., 6 o'clock. Look forward to seeing it. 511 on SoFi. We're going higher over there. 22.90 to 94 on GameStop. We're going to go higher there. It looks like we're climbing. The Dow's only off 73. We're getting better on the markets, actually. We're up 6 on S&P. We're up 60 on NASDAQ. I think we've got gains coming here. Oil back to positive, 71.75, up 20 cents at the moment. And we may have a few stocks hitting new highs of the session here this morning. Thank you all for the thumbs ups, subscribing, becoming members. Appreciate you very much. Thank you all for being around today. I'm going to get going and call it a day. Get ready for my 2 shows on Traveling with Bruce later today at 7 and 8 o'clock Eastern tonight. I'll see you here tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, for the Trade Alert Show, and then the regular show. So 8 o'clock Eastern, 8:30 Eastern, we'll be back on, and we'll follow the openings and see how these markets behave today. Get richer, everybody. Keep the drive alive. Well done, everyone. Some good trades going on around here. Profits are being made by option writers. Appreciate that. And have a great rest of your day today. Thanks again. 135 thumbs ups. If you can hit the thumbs ups on rerun, thank you for that. We would appreciate it. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow morning, first thing, and we'll get back at it here. 22.92, 22.94 on GameStop. SoFi 510, 512, looking great. All right, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.